right, good morning. Penny, good morning.
Good morning.
It's Thursday.
Yay!
And Thursday's a special day today because Penny's here. And look at her Copic markers. So
the rest of them are on the floor.
Oh my gosh, Penny, you need more Copic markers. That looks like a pretty nice container though.
Well, I started off with the bags that I got here, and then I kind of
outgrew them a little
bit.
A tub?
Yeah, I got a tub, and then I got another one on the floor.
So we are very lucky today because we've got Penny here, and she's one of our Copic marker colorers. We have a few staff members that are really into Copic markers, and we sell every color of Copic marker here at Memory Bound. And we should maybe tell what a Copic marker is, because there might be people that aren't familiar with these markers, Penny. So should we start off with that? Just kind of telling everyone. Well, first of all, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Memory Bound. Penny did the Van and White thing here. So we're Memory Bound. We're happy that you're joining us. It's Thursday here. Dawn says it's very frigid in Minnesota, and same here. Super cold. I think, was it below zero this morning?
Oh yeah. Right now it's 0.
It's 0. All right, we're at 0.
It's warmed up.
So there's a lot of Minnesota people watching.
Awesome.
So
Stay warm.
We're happy that you're all here. And Wendy says it's her dream collection. And Arkansas is having an ice storm.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's weird, Penny, is I think north of us, like Michigan, maybe is bad, and then south of us, and we've lucked out. We don't have any snow or storms. We have a sunny day, just a little chilly.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
We've had our share.
We have had enough.
We've had our share.
Oh my gosh, Diana posted all sorts of multicolored hearts going all the way across. So we have some real Copic fans here.
Yay.
So Penny, will you start out by just telling us Copic markers, what they are, how you use them?
Copic markers are an alcohol-based marker, and they have 2 ends. They have a chisel end, which is great for big areas. They have a brush nib, which is good for just regular coloring. And then there's other kinds of nibs that you can buy and replace. One's a bullet nib that you can actually buy and put in. There's a color number system. So this is a V17, and the 1 and the 7 mean different things. It depends on how much gray is in it and how much color is in it. And so then they just base it all off of that.
And they're made, because they're alcohol ink, they're made for blending. So you can color an image. Like, we could jump to your bonus, or do you have something else?
No, let's jump to the bonus.
So they're made for coloring and shading, and I tell people you don't have to be an artist to make things look really amazing. And I told that once to an artist, Penny, and it was very embarrassing. Because I was telling her about the markers, and I'm like, they just kind of color themselves.
So, yeah, and some colors are really easier to color with than others. So, yeah, in honor of our Super Bowl coming up, I just thought maybe I'd play around with a little bit of Super Bowl colors. And
you can see that there's shading, and we're not really getting into the basic Copic coloring 101. Katie has done some in the past, but you can see you use different colors and you shade and put layers on, and it all comes together and it just looks amazing.
Just a quick note, sometimes you'll get the nice smooth look like in the orange, so some of it's been blended, but then you want the texture also, so then you can just leave your lines and then you'll get texture like for a beard. So different ways to use them for different reasons.
Different Copics, different reasons. And we carry the sketch Copics here at Memory Bound, and we do have all the colors like we mentioned. And Penny has some unique things today that she's going to show.
Yeah.
So if you already have the Copics or you want to learn more about them, this is really amazing. And I was super happy to see all these cool techniques.
So it all started with a stamp set in a class. So I was given the stamp set and introduced to a class. And so then all of these ideas came from that class. This is the Jen Hadfield Peaceful Heart stamp set. And there are a lot of gems in this. And it is
$6.99. Wow. That's a
wow.
good price. I think we might have to have Diane check on that.
Double check on that. Yeah. Wow.
So we will get that. We'll confirm the price if we've got the right stickers on those or not.
Yep. And the card that I was most intrigued with was the card that we made using the wreath. And we just did some simple basic coloring. There's really no blending because all of these little spots are just so small. Getting way up on the tip of the marker, we just colored the dots, and then we colored the leaves. There's a few butterflies and 2 little flowers.
So would you just kind of have used the tips of your marker on those, Penny?
Yep.
Super.
And then we just did a solid color trim paper, but then just to add a little dimension to it, we dotted it. So why not use your Copics on complementary colors for your trims to add another little pizzazz? Sometimes colors just don't match, and so take a solid, darken it, and then you're good to go. And then down here on the bottom, we have a gradient and we have a plaid. And we're going to talk more about this in a little minute. But the stamp also has, I call it a piece of tape. And the piece of tape.
So there it is.
And I'm not one to use a whole lot of blocks. But this one I thought, well, we're using Copics. So what I did was I took a marker and I actually colored the stamp and then I stamped it. So on my...
Are you going to do that, Penny?
What?
Are you going to do that?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, good.
So I'm taking my V15 and I've got my tape stamp over
She's got
here.
it all set up on her Misty.
And you just color.
It doesn't even look like it's coloring.
No. And it's kind of a lighter color. Oh, I forgot my Stampendable. Oh, I'm so sad.
We have one here at Memory Bound. We could have Teresa get it if we need it.
And I didn't ink it very well. So we'll just...
That's the beauty of the Misty. Penny, I've never stamped with Copic markers. I've used Copic markers, done shading and stuff, but I've never stamped with them. That was a wow for me.
So it looks like a piece of tape. And then all I did was take my sentiment and lined it up and then stamped it with Memento ink. So here's a couple of examples.
Ooh.
And that's with Memento with black. And then you'll see that, oops, I forgot to clean the stamp.
Oh, Penny, I love it.
So this is the Y35 that's supposed to be. So anyway, so yeah, you can color right with your...
Thank you.
Thank you. That would have made all the difference in the world.
I'll get up close here so we can see these. Very cool. Forgot to clean the stamp off.
Yep. So then let's talk about the gradient.
Yeah,
the gradient
that was amazing for me,
is
Penny.
fun, fun, fun. So we're going to set that aside. And I'm just going to show you a couple different...
And we'll take pictures of these when we're done so you can see.
All you're doing is coloring. You're using 3 colors, sometimes 2, sometimes 4, depends on how much of a variance you want. So I used my B91, 95, and 97. I started with my lighter color and I just worked down, blended it until I got to the bottom. So then I tried it with the BG series. Now you'll know these don't go in order. This is a BG01, BG53, and a BG45. And notice that even though the number is 015345, it's still got darker.
Light to dark.
And that's because of the grays versus the amount of color.
Ooh, that pink is striking. Oh my gosh, that's neat.
Those are RVs, 02, 04, and 06. And then I had to do one of the grays, the C1, 3, and 5.
So if you're not familiar with Copics, BG is the blue-green series, B is the blue series, you've got the red-violet series, and then the
Cool
C is
gray.
the cool grays.
So the difference between
Nice backgrounds.
the grays, we have cool, we have warm, we have neutral, and we have toner. We always say cool goes on inanimate objects, W's go on animate or living objects. But I broke the rule when I did my beards on the gnomes.
Okay.
But they're really not living, so, I mean, they are, but they aren't.
Way. Oh, they're alive. They're alive, Penny.
Yeah. So those are them. So now I'm going to take that and I'm going to take out my colorless blender. This is your magic tool, your zero. And then what we're going to do is we're going to line it up on the paper using a ruler. We're going to create a plaid.
And Penny, the colorless blender is a little misleading because it's more like an eraser.
It's
it
more of a
blends,
color
but it removes
pusher.
Color pusher.
Yep, it's going to move the color away from where it's been. 1, 2, 3. And I'm getting the extra bleed through because I just refilled.
She's got a juicy marker.
I do.
She refilled just for all of our viewers. Well, and speaking of refilling, Penny, we should mention that if you're local,
Yep.
Penny does offer the marker refill service. So you could bring your markers here to Memory Bound, and Penny takes them home and she refills them. And is it $2? $2
a piece.
A marker.
Yep. So we just go, and I'm going every 2 bars.
And we didn't really mention that the markers are refillable. But that's one of the benefits of the Copic sketch markers is you can refill the ink. So once you buy a marker, you never have to buy another marker.
All right, so after you go up, then you can go through to get your plaid. And I love this grid paper to help me create my lines nice and straight, even though I don't think I'm getting it done today.
And Penny's using the grid paper from the Misty, but I think the sticky grid paper would be good. And I think the new Misty sticky mats would be really good, and we're going to show those in a little bit. They came yesterday. Penny, it is showing. It is showing.
You can get the idea, and then so that creates a plaid. You could also, well, let's stick with that thought.
The microphone just fell off.
So that's what I did with this, was that I stamped that image, I used my gradient, and then I used the plaid, and then I used my darkest color as a border. I put it on a white background, and I thought, I want it a little bit bigger. So then what I did was that I colored another mat, the next darkest color, because I'd used 3 of the lighter colors. So now I have a double matted image. And then I thought, what am I going to do to this side over here? And I thought, I'm going to play with some ribbon. So I grabbed a piece of ribbon that I had, and I grabbed that marker, which I think is the BG09, which is this really beautiful blue-green.
That is pretty. I love those colors.
I used my chisel end, and I just colored it.
Okay, nobody has ever colored ribbon with the Copic marker here at Memory Bound before. Penny, you are a first.
Yay!
And Penny, they love your fingernails too, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
You had several comments on your fingernails for Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
And did that go through, so it's all the way through?
It is. It's all the way through.
Oh my gosh. And with an alcohol-based ink, it probably doesn't matter what your fiber is in the ribbon. It doesn't have to be cotton, like if you're coloring it with Distress inks.
And if you want it darker, I think you can just color a little bit again, just like you would on regular paper.
Okay, lots of hearts and wows on the ribbon, Penny. That is amazing. We are learning so much.
All right, so that's on ribbon.
Yeah, everybody loves that. So all your stuff will match.
All right, so this was a different gradient, and I'm just going to do it for you really quick, just so that you have an idea of what it's like. So I'm going to choose a different color. Yep, use a chisel tip, and just go back and forth. The less you do, the less color you have. Then when you get towards the middle,
go a little darker.
Go a little darker. So that's the 9-1. Let's jump to the 9-5, and that's kind of a jump. So then we're going to go just right next to it. Same thing. And we're going to, that one's really dirty. We're going to jump to the 9-7.
Well, it's coloring faster than I thought, Penny. I thought maybe you had colored for hours to get those gradients, but
no.
It comes out pretty quick.
It does, especially when your marker's been refilled.
Well, we know, well, I would hope you would have juicy markers, being a marker refiller.
Yep.
Penny has taken a lot of Copic classes and such, so she is very knowledgeable about the Copics.
And I enjoy coloring.
Well, it's relaxing.
So now let's go for a little bit more of a blend in here.
So you're just adding some more
I'm adding more color
just to kind of bring it together.
Yep. The more color you put down, the darker it gets. Can go back to my mid-tone.
Now
there is a gray mark, that's your brush nib mark, and then the other end is your chisel end. But sometimes I get in a hurry and I don't even pay attention to it. So
she's showing this on the right end of the marker there. You can see that little gray bar, and that's your brush tip. So you don't have to pick up your marker, take the lid off, put the lid back on, flip it, and open up the other lid.
Right. So.
Oh, Penny, that's beautiful.
There we go. But then I thought, gosh, what would happen if we had some angry seas in the ocean?
Oh, you're making an ocean.
Or, just for fun. I haven't done this, so I just wanted to know if it would really.
Oh my gosh, this is live. This is unplanned, fly by the seat of your pants live now. And let's see, Cheryl said she didn't know Copics could be refilled, and you do have to have the sketch or the original.
Right.
Copic, what are the other ones called, Penny?
This is the chow.
Oh, the chows cannot be refilled.
Yes.
The round barrels.
No, they can.
Oh, they can?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was taught
because
but you
know.
can do it.
Oh,
By
yeah.
golly, Penny will do it.
You refill by the chisel end.
Okay.
They'll tell you to take out the nibs, but I don't do that. I was never showed to do that, and so unless the nibs need to be replaced. But you have just a little idea that there's a little bit of texture going on. Now, if I would have wanted to do a specific pattern.
Or clouds. You could probably fluff up some clouds.
I wondered about using a stencil and going over it.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of the same kind of thing, because it would be like a ruler. It would be an edge. So, all right. So we've colored.
Jennifer said it's like Bob Ross, except angry seas instead of happy trees. All right. Penny, do you have a recommendation on building a set of Copics? Like, do you have certain, I know we do have a list that Katie put together here at Memory Bound, and I didn't know if you had, it's hard because you have about everything, but.
Well, I would hate to admit that I have over 200, but it depends on what you're going to color. If you're going to color flowers, then get your flower colors. Get a nice set of greens. And I think these greens would be really good ones, like your YG616367, your YG1713, and then your YG03. You can do a lot with those 6 markers in green.
There's kind of that green, which is a little softer, and then there's like the YG17 that's a little bit more, you know, like grass green.
Yeah.
There's kind of like the more gray greens and the more...
Well, yeah.
And the more brighter greens, so it depends. And we can take a picture of...
But then there's...
Oh, then there's those greens.
Yeah. I mean, there's greens with more gray and greens with less gray.
When we're done, we will pan the Copic rack here at Memory Bound so you can see some of the colors. And then we will also, we'll put a picture of those original colors that Katie had down on her list. Okay, and Kathy says, can you stamp with the blender for a ghostly effect? Like if you inked up one of your stamps with the blender.
Oh.
Should we try it?
Let's do.
All right, she's all over it. And she's cleaning her stamp off so it won't be a dirty stamp.
Maybe. Okay. So let's use the gradient, and let's do it this way.
Yeah, I like that.
And we've got that.
Thank you, Kathy,
tape.
for suggesting that. Penny's all over it now.
I love it. A nice idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so colorless blender.
So she's putting that on her stamp. She's got her Stampendable. And sometimes, oh yeah, she's going to put a little more on.
I wonder if there was, there was residue on it. I think there was some pink residue. Let's move it a little bit. Whose idea was this?
This was, let's see, I have to go back. Kathy. I don't know why you couldn't, because it takes the color off.
Oh, you can see the color move much better in that one.
So especially if you had a darker color, it would probably really show up. So Kathy, we love that idea. Beth said she started with skin tones because evidently she was going to be coloring people.
Yep.
Now we have a question about paper. So do you want to address that question, Penny?
I like to use Hamilton.
Nina?
No, H.
Hammermill?
Hammermill. Hamilton. Hammermill paper. And I have 2 weights at home, and I really prefer the 100-pound. But Nina is really good.
Nina paper here at Memory Bound that you can get, and it comes in packs of 8.5 by 11. And there's also a paper called the Express It that's made by Copic, and we carry that also.
All right. So we've done some gradient. We've colored on some ribbon. So now let's try the next one.
The thing about the paper, okay, we should just address this. You need special ink and you need special paper, because with your paper,
yes,
and Penny's not coloring an image right now, but you're going to want it to bleed through the back. So you want paper where the ink is going to go straight through and it's not going to like spread out, especially if you're coloring images like these.
Right.
So if you have a paper and you're not sure, just give it a try and see how it works, if it spreads out or if it goes straight through.
Right.
And for ink, we recommend Memento ink.
Yes.
It has to be an alcohol-friendly ink.
All right. So, masculine. Who doesn't need a good masculine card? We're always thinking, what can we do for masculine? So I got out browns. So I used my E series, 31, 33, 35, and 37, and I did my gradient. I took my colorless blender and took away the ink on the horizontal lines. Then I added back in a stripe with the next darker E39.
That's very striking, very striking.
And then it didn't quite fit the bottom of the card. So then I got a piece of burlap and I
here
thought,
here we go.
What would happen if I colored burlap? Because I colored ribbon. Well, it's the same thing. So same color or different color?
We had a question about the ribbon that you colored earlier, and I think it was just like a polyester.
It's one I got here.
So it's
I
just
mean,
kind of
it's just a
like a polyester.
Yep.
Or maybe, I don't think it's nylon. I think it's polyester.
Yeah, I just went over to the wonderful rack of ribbon and
we do have ribbon here.
oh my gosh.
Penny,
it's
do they have
awesome.
to be stored horizontally, or does it matter how you store your markers? I know yours are not stored horizontally.
Some are stored horizontal and some are stored vertical. And some are on my desk and some are not. And so, no, I don't think it matters.
Okay, Beth, now this is cool, Penny, while you're coloring that. Beth said she just colored ribbon and then stamped hearts on it.
Oh.
Thank you, Beth. That is a wonderful idea. That works well.
There we go.
Oh my gosh. So everything can coordinate, kind of like Teresa when she colors her ribbon with distress inks.
Yep.
Penny, another question is, what do you clean your stamps with? Like when you've been
When I've been coloring with them, I take my alcohol swab.
So if you're using the Copic ink on them, she uses alcohol swabs. Oh my gosh, she's got a whole little box back there.
Yeah, that's my refill box.
So you could use rubbing alcohol. I bet you could use some
isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah, or some hand sanitizer if it's alcohol based.
Right. Yep. Otherwise, if it's Memento ink, then I just use my regular stamp cleaner. All right, and that's the Photo Play Birthday Sentiment and die cut.
And you colored that with your marker also?
So this is an extra piece of paper, and I colored it the medium color, and then I stamped it because I wanted it to match the colors. Because if you go over to a piece of paper and then that doesn't quite match, color your paper that you know, and then die cut it.
Because I thought you would die cut and color, but gosh, it'd be much easier to color and then die cut.
Well, because then I was just, I was just playing with my marker and like a gradient, and I thought, oh, this will be nice. So I'm going to cut this out.
That's perfect.
So.
Perfect. Oh, that was striking. When you showed me your cards, that was the one that went, wow.
All right. So then, as I'm matching my ribbon and my sentiments to my card, why wouldn't you match your distress ink to your cards and match your Copics to your distress ink? So I love this BG49, and I made just a little cloud sentiment holder, I don't know what you call it, and then the peacock feathers, Tim Holtz Distress Ink, is a wonderful match. So I used that peacock feather on the stamp and just stamped a little background, and then I made a mat, and it's separate, and did the 49 and then matted it, and I love it. I love sometimes a really simple card.
So the flowers you stamp with peacock feathers from the stamp set to make an overall pattern, background pattern.
Added a sentiment, and I kept my color scheme. And
Rose asked, would a stencil be cleaned with alcohol wipe? If you use Copic markers on it, certainly you'd clean it with an alcohol wipe.
Yes. All right. So then, kind of another masculine idea. I used my G28 and 29, and I just wanted a little gradient. So I went from medium to dark, and then it looked to me like the rustic wilderness, because I remember using it at Christmas time, worked beautifully for these leaves. I just did a random leaf around the top, and I thought, what else am I going to do? I used my color little block of paper down here, and I just used a little banner and used the thank you sentiment. I really like the thank you sentiment from the stamp set.
It's very unique.
It's very nice.
And there's the leaf that she used to make her paper at the top.
Yep. So that
So
is.
what you're saying is get your distress inks and match them up to your Copics, which you
Yep.
don't think those would play together well, but they really do.
Yep. So, and I just inked the stamp and I colored the paper and I inked the stamp and voila, there we go.
Very cool. That
All
stamp
right.
has a lot of uses.
Yes, I really like it. And then I just wanted to use a couple of the other ones just kind of by themselves. So I tried the Believe and I tried my favorite flower and just made a monochromatic, just a little simple card.
There's the flower that she used and the Believe.
And then in our
She's got a whole pile
class,
here.
then we did kind of a grouping of the big flowers and the little flowers. And I have all the colors that I used written down. And when I was kind of doing it, I kind of came to the conclusion that I didn't like this color. So then I would just stamped a few
The
more.
leaf color?
The flower color,
the
because
flower
it didn't
color.
really go with the pinks and burgundies and purples. And
yeah.
so I thought, so another technique that you can use if you don't want a stark white background
Oh, yes.
is,
I love this.
and I'm going to use my B quadruple 0.
Here, let's get a little shot of that tip of that marker. So that is as little color as you can get with the blues.
So then you're just going to go right up to the image and you're going to flick out. And you can flick as little or as long as you want, depending on what kind of look you want. So and it's really pretty quick because you're going to go back and color. You would want to do this first.
Okay, so that's what I didn't realize, Penny, that you do that first.
Yep, you have to kind of think about the whole process. And I mean, that's pretty quick. All right, so if that was the only thing on the card, I would just continue doing it. So then put the cap on the pen and take a drink because you don't drink enough water. And then let it dry a little bit because things are going to move. Then what I like to do, I'm kind of a more realistic colorer, is what I label myself. I like to take my colorless blender and just push the color back just a little bit so that there maybe not be a complete end to my color.
So it kind of, I'm going to just say smears a little
Yep.
bit. Just kind of blends it out.
Yep. And that just makes me feel good.
I feel good too, Penny. I feel good. Now here, that's the start, and here's the finished. And it's kind of like the blue makes the flowers pop.
I think so, yes.
It really does.
So I thought, that's an okay card, and I colored it, and then I just colored the edge of the same piece of paper
gosh. Okay,
and
wait.
made a border.
Oh, it is. It looks like a mat.
Yep. And so you would just do the same thing. You would line up your card. You would take
Yeah,
your
show us
marker.
how to do that, because you've done that a lot, and they look perfect.
I lost my ruler.
Let's see. Where's Penny's ruler? Does anybody see Penny's ruler on the table? I know
Yep,
one
here it
time
is.
someone found Dawn's glasses one time.
All right. So I line up my ruler. Get out your chisel nib. One time, just do one time. That's what I try to tell myself. Then turn it, line it up.
So Penny is really taking advantage of the Misty or My Sweet Petunia grid paper. So I think you've shown me, Penny, how valuable that could be to have a straight surface like that.
So really easy, and it's so much fun. It just adds one more thing. Now, before you leave your ruler and get it lost, take an alcohol swab
Oh, and clean it.
and clean it, or the next time you put your marker on it, you're going to get a mess. I know very well because I've done it too many
Penny
times.
is teaching us from what she has learned the hard way.
Yeah.
Now, Penny, the blue looks really nice. Have you used any other colors like that, like maybe any of the grays, or do you have any other colors you might have used?
My favorite is the BG 000 on an outside. That's my favorite sky color. So sometimes even around clouds or above a landscape or, yeah. So BG 000.
So
I mean, we could get
you
into
could
all
do any
kinds
kind
of
of
things.
colors,
We could do paneling, and I can show you how to do a window. And
well, we might have to put that on the list, Penny. We could have Penny's Copic time. I need to
okay,
come up with a better title, but I will.
so that's pretty, and it's pretty coloring, and that's nice, but that doesn't do
But-
anything for me. It
Well, you
doesn't
just took
do
it to the
anything
next
for
level.
me, so I had to take it to the next level, and I wanted to play around with the colors, and I wanted to make it pop. And you'll see that I made these the same color, and I added a punch leaf. Sneak peek to next week's video.
Yes, it is.
And I added the Believe sentiment from the stamp set and a purple border this time.
So it's kind of, I guess what I'm seeing, Penny, is the stamp set. You can make big, kind of bolder flowers, or you have this kind of delicate wreath. So it's got a lot of different things, and I think it still has some more stuff.
Yep.
What paper were you recommending?
Nina.
The Nina Copic, or
They said they recommend Nina.
Corrine says she would love to see more Penny.
I have this whole big list, and we'll just take a picture of it with all the different colors that I used in both flowers, because somebody I know will want those colors. Somebody only wants these colors. So I've written them all down. So just Copic in a nutshell. Use what you have.
Oh yeah, 'cause,
Get 'em
I mean,
out.
those flowers. You
Get
could
'em
make
out and use them.
You could make those any color if you wanted to put them on a new baby girl card. You could do pinks or yellows. Or
You can do straight coloring. So if you have an image, just color it. That's good. I mean, if you've colored it, and that some of them are so small anyway, like the gnomes, you don't have to
do a lot of
shade
shading,
them, but you know
especially
you
these little
can.
flowers.
But use them. You can blend for a more realistic look. You know.
So Penny's taken a darker color in kind of the same family, and then she goes back over it again with a lighter color. And what I found, Penny, is it kind of soaks or
Yes.
dries, and
Yep.
it does change as it soaks and dries.
And every time you lay a color down, it's going to change. And so sometimes you just have to sit and wait. I'm kind of particular about my lines. So I just sit there and color.
Penny, Penny, there's a lot of people that want more Penny. Penny part 2. Show more Copic tips. Yes, more Penny.
And you can color on your stamp. You can create a mat. You can create a separate mat to put down underneath it. Use your colorless blender, and we can do colorless blender tricks too.
That would be a good demo. Wouldn't you guys love to see Penny's colorless blender tricks? I need to
feel like a
we need
magician.
I know it is. It's tricks. Well, you've shown some great stuff, Penny, and things that I didn't even know you could do with the Copic markers. I've mainly used them for coloring and images, and not really for backgrounds and stuff. So I think everybody has loved it.
Yay, I'm glad.
Super loved it.
Any other questions?
It's mainly more Penny. More Penny, more Penny. And Penny is going to be back. What day are you back?
I'm next
week?
Wednesday.
Penny will be back here next Wednesday, and you don't have anything from that to show today, do you?
No, I just the actual item. We're gonna use a punch.
Yeah, this
And
is
boy, are we going to use a punch. Kelly doesn't even know a couple of the things I want to try.
I can't wait. I can't wait. So next Wednesday, Penny's going to be back, and she's got this flower punch from EK Success that actually has
And we'll
4
tie
different
it.
pieces.
And we'll tie it back
And
to
you're
the
bringing
stamp.
and she's bringing the stamp back.
Yep.
So she'll be using both of these together next Wednesday. So join us then.
Okay.
And we'll talk to Penny about getting her more about Copics. So it says show her color paper again. So let me see if that means these.
Oh.
And I will take pictures of all of these. And you guys, you know what? Janet has been so amazing. She's putting all this on our blog and then posting our blog right here to Facebook so you can see everything. Everything that Penny has done. We'll take pictures when we're done. And Penny, we have,
All right, we have
a couple things to show.
Okay.
Will you help me with that?
Yeah.
We got these 2 cards that I wanted to show. Martha, thank you so much for this card. Look at that cute little, and you know what, Penny?
That almost feels like fun foam, but it's layers of that.
It is, and don't you think she colored that with Copic markers, that little bear?
Yeah.
So there's a perfect,
And I think maybe the background too.
it looks like it. It's very neat. Martha, thank you for the card. That really cheered me up and was so cute. And then we have another card that came from Sharon. We kind of have the cute and then the elegant.
Ooh.
And Sharon sent us this card, and that is some Graphic 45 paper. And I'm not sure what butterfly. That has to be a butterfly stamp, maybe Tim Holtz that she layered in.
So that feels
Heat
like
embossed.
vellum and
Yeah.
then a white.
It's really beautiful.
Wow. Nice.
Okay, and then speaking of cards, we've got the card kit is back in stock. That is called Sending Sunshine. It's from Simple Stories. It's I think it's $11.99, and you make 8 cards. And these are those kits that it's kind of funny, but you don't even need a pair of scissors. Everything is
Nope.
punch out. I recommend you get some foam dots because when
Yep.
you pop things up, it really makes them come alive. So that is back in stock. We had lots of requests for it, and it's available if you go to Kits, Shopping and Kits. You'll see that kit from Simple Stories. And then we have, oh, you know what, Penny? We don't have the color pictures out, but the Spellbinders 100-pound cardstock. Chris is using this when she does her box next week. And so we have
I
all the
love
individual
this.
sheets of the Spellbinders cardstock. So if you want to go out, and you can probably tell by the name, like pink,
Red.
orange. You can probably tell by the name, and we will get the pictures out there for sure soon. And then we have a couple dies that came in that are from Spellbinders also, and this is Hello You, and that fills a big slimline card, and if you flip it over, Penny, I think we can kind of see what it does. And we have Janine on this.
Oh, Jean, yeah.
Janine is doing a demo with this. And then we have one that says congrats. And that's the
Yay.
same type of die. And so we will be showing these.
Oh, I love that.
And the one she has says thanks. That she's showing. And we have that also.
Awesome.
And then Yippee Kaya Yay, My Sweet Petunia, the Misty pads. This is what you were using, right?
Yes, I love it.
So Penny was using this today, and they fit right into your Misty if you want to use kind of a grid paper in your Misty. And then when you stamp on it and mess it up, you can just tear it off and throw it away.
I leave one usually inside my, so in case I close it, like if I have to go empty the dishwasher or something.
Yes, something
You know,
important.
you've got the stamp with ink on it, and it's like, oh, just forget it.
Oh my gosh, that's great. And then the mini Misty, Penny had the regular size Misty, but we do have the mini Misty in stock. And the Misty rulers, have you used the rulers, Penny?
I have not.
I have not used them either, but the T rulers are back in stock, and you do get 2 of them. And they fit right inside your Misty, so you can make perfect lines and maybe even line up your letters like you could with that T ruler that we've been out of forever.
I like that. And the mouse pad.
The mouse pad's back. And there's a new product that Teresa nabbed from Misty, and we're going to have to,
I'll go
if
see
you
it.
want to get it.
Yep.
And then I also want to mention that we've been doing a lot of house cleaning, and all of these distress pins, not pens, but pins. The collector's pins from Tim Holtz are all half off. So the singles are normally $4.99, so they would be $2.50 if you have a favorite color or you have a collection going. And the sets of 6 are $24.99, so they're $12.50 for 6 of them. So those are on special. You'll find them online. You can give us a call. Look at all of this sparkling campfire. And Penny has the new, what are those called?
These
Sticky
are called
mats.
sticky mats for the original Misty. I'm so intrigued, but love this. So there is one size grid, then there's a bigger grid, and then there's the small grid. I would love this
So if
set
you're doing that,
to use for my edges and my borders.
I think that would be wonderful.
Because then I could really get a more precise size for my border. I like these.
So
Okay,
that- and
I'm going to
that's-
buy
okay, and
this.
are they $6.99, Penny, or what is it?
Yeah,
They're
$6.49.
$6.49 for the 3 of them.
Oh, that's
They
a good
come in a
bargain.
set, so that's pretty good. That's a brand new product. We just got it in, and then it would be good for what you're doing. Or to help you line up your stamps. If
Oh,
you want
yeah.
a smaller grid to line up your stamps.
Yeah. Oh, this is neat. Okay, sold me.
And going, gone. Going once, going twice. Sold to Penny. Now the sticky grid paper they're asking about, Penny, that we mentioned from Sizzix is right over here. And that's kind of like what Penny was using, except it sticks. It's got kind of a post-it note-y background, and you can stick it down and you can use it for die cutting or stamping, and it does have the grid on it also. So I think that might be good for what you were doing, Penny. The sticky grid sheets. This is the medium size, and they do come great big also. I call them great big, but it is the bigger size. And then there are small ones that, so those would probably be super
8
handy.
1/4 by 11 3/4.
Thank you, Penny. I was looking for the size and I couldn't find it anywhere, so I just said great big.
Yeah, great big.
That's great big. So anyway, and then since we're standing here in our Sizzix row,
And the self-mending cutting decks are back in.
thank you. The iMends, the self-mending cutting decks are back in stock. Those were unavailable for a little bit from our vendor, and I think those are, they're $20.99, and they replace one of your Big Shot cutting pads. And
Love.
they're really nice because they don't bow and
Yes.
crack as much. They last a super long time. So while we're here sitting in the Sizzix area,
Uh-oh.
the switch is, we actually got invoiced for it, Penny, so that means that it is
Dun,
being,
dun,
being put on a
dun.
truck. So I would say we're probably going to have those switches next week, and we will get more information. And we got a lot of you on the list, and we sure appreciate that and your support. And we're anxious to get those, and we will get one out, and we will use one on our morning video as soon as they arrive.
Yay.
So, I think that does our questions. Tomorrow,
Oh, let's
Darla-
show them the colors.
Oh yeah, we got to show the Copics. Thank you, Penny. Tomorrow, Darla's going to be here. She's a guest customer, and she's got some stuff to show. Oh my gosh, this is just beautiful. These are our Copic markers, the sketch style, and they're $7.49. And you can see there's more than a couple colors. I think the hardest part, Penny, is picking your colors when you're starting out.
Yeah.
And there's all those grays. And here is the list that suggested colors that we put together when we first started carrying Copic markers. And I will take a picture of that for everybody if you're interested. And like Penny said, pick out things that you're going to color. Are you going to color bears or flowers or people?
Yeah.
And once you buy a marker, you don't have to buy another marker. You just can get it refilled, and you can put new tips on it if your tip wears out.
Yep. I think I've only had to buy one duplicate marker on purpose, and that's because the other one died. It got
Oh.
beyond refillable, and yeah.
It must have been your favorite, Penny.
And it's an R, and R's are notorious for being difficult in more than one way.
And we do have a few refills. We don't stock all the refills because we stock Penny.
Yeah.
We got Penny your refills. We don't stock all the refills just because there are so many. There's 300 and is it 340? Penny?
Yeah, something like
So
that.
that's a lot for us to carry. But we do have all the markers, and if you have more questions about those,
Sure. Shoot fire.
let us know. Yes, send us an email, and we'll be glad to help you with that. Otherwise, things are starting to happen here at Memory Bound this morning, and we're open till 7 o'clock. So hopefully you can stop in if you're in the area, and otherwise we'll be back tomorrow with Darla. Penny,
Yay.
thank you a whole bunch for
Absolutely.
helping us today and showing us that cool stuff.
My pleasure.
So everyone have a crafty day.
Yay.